Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a trying new makeup. This one I'm really excited about. I've been waiting to get all of these products in, and I know you guys want to see me use the new KBD Vegan Beauty Apple Balm Foundation. I think that's what it's called. Good Apple Foundation Balm. People have been going crazy about this, and I'm sorry about the wait. I should have done just like a dedicated on it, but I was waiting to haul it and do all that stuff. So we're going to be playing with this today. Also have the new Tatcha. This is the silk powder. This was sent to me in PR, and I have some thoughts on this. I've tried it one time. I also picked up 3 of the Melt Cream blushes. I'm a huge fan of cream blushes and Melt Cosmetics. So we're gonna demo these, maybe use 1 or 2 of those. Also picked up 2 of the Jaclyn Cosmetics liquid lipsticks. Tried to get a couple lip liners and a couple lipsticks. By the time I checked out, the lip liners were gone. So then I went back to try to get another lip liner and it was gone. So all I could manage to get was 2 liquid lipsticks. So I thought we would try one of these today as well. I also recently hauled this Gucci powder. This is the pressed powder. I just think the packaging is so beautiful and I've been playing around with this, so I want to demo this for you guys as well. Also got in PR some new Kosas brow products. So I've tried a couple of these once and then I haven't tried this, so I thought we would just play around with these on camera, see what we think. I do have some thoughts, but we'll see how things go today when I use them for the second time. And then I also have for the eyes the new Ofra Samantha March collaboration. I showed this on my stories. So it has 8 eyeshadows, so I thought we would use the eyeshadows today, and then I'll use the bronzer and the highlight, but obviously not the blush because I want to use those Melt blushes. But this is her new collaboration, and then I thought maybe we will use one of the glosses. So she has a trio of glosses and then this palette. So I thought we would just play around, try everything. I will link everything down below. If there's any new products you want me to try, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe, and let's go ahead and begin. I went ahead and zoomed you guys in. I did prep my base. I used the Bobbi Brown face base, and then I used my Tarte primer for my pore area, just what I would typically do. I think the shade I got in the KVD is gonna be a little bit dark. I'm hoping that will make it work. I picked up the shade Medium 42. So this is what the packaging looks like. It's supposed to be fully recyclable, so it's nothing special. People were kind of commenting on that. No mirror, no magnetic closure. It's just very basic. And then this is what the balm looks like. It's very emollient. The second that you touch it, it just comes off immediately. And what I keep hearing is a little goes a long way. So I'm going to really try to use a minimal amount of product. The thing is, this went viral on TikTok. And the one thing that I personally struggle with is on TikTok, most of the time people have the beauty filter on. It's really hard nowadays with social media to tell who has the filter on or not. And I myself use filters when I'm talking or showing my makeup or whatever. But when I'm trying to get a review of a product, it's hard for me to want to buy something when their skin looks filtered. It has a filter on it. So there's no way I can tell what it actually looks like, because really anything will look good with a certain filter. So that's why I really want to see YouTube videos, close-up, stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and try with a sponge first. I have a damp beauty blender. I think I'm just going to like press into it one time very lightly and see where that takes us. So I've just dipped in like this. I feel like I've seen a lot of people really swipe, and I just don't know if you need that much product. So here we go. Okay, so this is what we're looking like with one dip in. I'm gonna dip in one more time and start filling in. It has that cream to powder formula. That's like my first initial thought. Coverage is really good. So I'm dipping in again. I was gonna use a brush, but I just don't think I need to. I feel like this is working fine. Color is obviously a little bit orange, a little warm. So my first thought is to definitely just dip in, like very lightly tap in and then keep building, because I've seen people really push their brush or their sponge in. And when you do that, you're gonna get a huge chunk of this product. Whereas when I'm dipping, I'm getting just a tiny bit, so I'm able to build, because places like on my forehead, I don't really need much coverage, but like my nose, I do. So this is what the foundation is looking like before we set it. I have to say, this is a really interesting formula. At first I thought it was like a cream to powder. It kind of gave me the same vibe as the NARS Soft Matte, which I love because it does have that kind of soft matte powder finish, but it's not crazy drying. But when I look in my viewfinder, I'm seeing quite a bit of radiance on my forehead. So it's not completely dry down matte. A little goes a long way, and I think that's one thing to note. When I dipped in with the sponge, I literally tapped and that was a dip. So I probably dipped in 6 or 7 times, but I didn't like rub in there or try to get a gunk of product out because it's just gonna look really heavy. I'm noticing it looks a little heavy maybe in between my brows, maybe a little bit around my nose, and it was kind of shifting on my nose a little bit. I feel like that's pretty normal for me because if it's not a dry down matte formula, sometimes they don't want to stick to my nose. But overall, I don't feel that it enhanced my texture. I feel like the coverage is good. The shade is a little bit too warm for me, but I feel like we'll make it work. I kind of try to pull it down my neck a little bit. But so far, I'm not, you know, like dying, like I feel perfectly flawless, but I also feel like it looks pretty good. But that can change. So we'll kind of see how things go. But my first impression is less is more with this. Really take your time and blend it out, and probably make sure that you have a really hydrated base, maybe a pore smoothing primer. But for not having powder on, I feel like my face doesn't look super textured, which is something I like. So I don't have a new concealer to test. So I'm going in with my Shortbread Born This Way from Too Faced. Usually lately I've been doing my eyes first, but I'm not gonna do a winged liner today. I might not even do lashes. I'm feeling wild. So now I wanna move on to the Tatcha, the Silk Powder. This was sent to me in PR. I was gonna pick it up and then I saw some mixed reviews. So I tried this one time and I have to say that it really clung under my eye, and I felt like it made me look really dry and textured under my eye. So I'm a little scared. I'm gonna try this a different way. I used it with a sponge and sort of pulled it down like I normally do. Today I think I'm only gonna use it like right under my eye where I have those little fine lines and see if that works better. The packaging is really pretty, but it's a little confusing because it has this little center piece, I guess, where the powder comes out. So I've heard of a lot of people kind of like dropping it and throwing it everywhere. So just be mindful of that. So I am taking like the tiniest little brush to really get in there, and I'm sort of kind of packing it in there but also pulling it up. Couple things I noticed about this. Okay, I like it better that way than I did when I actually used a beauty blender the other day. Couple things I noticed: very, very finely milled. One of those that you kind of inhale in, just very, very finely milled. And also it does seem to have a little bit of a radiance to it. Not glittery, but there is some sort of radiance, almost kind of like the Hourglass had, which some people may enjoy. For me, anytime there's radiance, I'm just a little bit more cautious. So I feel like it looks way better than it did the other day. The other day, I almost like packed it on with a sponge and then it was grabbing when I tried to remove it. It was like stuck in certain places. It just did not look very good. And I've heard a couple other people say this is one of the more finicky powders they've used, which to be honest, I don't really want to mess with a finicky powder. So again, just really lightly applying this, making sure that I'm getting it right in those eye folds. Okay, it looks a little dry over here. I feel like with this powder, less is more, which I think a lot of people would be fine with. I personally, just for my texture, really like to set and then pull down with a sponge. So I'm just not used to using a very minimal amount. So I turned down my lighting. There's something weird and funky going on with my nose here. The powder and that foundation just are not looking the best. It's like gunking up around my nostril, which I usually don't have, and then patching off right here. So moving on to set the outside of my face, I'm going to be using the Gucci Press Powder. I bought this recently. I just could not resist the packaging and I love their bronzer. So I picked up the shade 03. I've been playing around with this and I really like it. It's nice and smoothing. It has a little bit of coverage. It's not like a MAC Studio Fix, but it's not completely sheer. And the shade I got is a little bit yellow for me, so I can't use it in my T-zone. So I've just been using it to set pretty much everywhere but my T-zone. It's not super heavy, it's not drying, but it does set down. So I've actually been enjoying it. It's definitely a luxury price tag, so you're sort of paying for the packaging, but it's actually a really nice powder. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to eyebrows. I went ahead and underlined with my Benefit Precisely My Brow. I like to just do the underline. It just gives my brows some sort of shape just because they're so sparse. But I have these new products from Kosas. So first of all, the packaging is so cute on this. So they have a brow pencil that has a spoolie on one side, and it has not the finest tip, which kind of makes me think I'm probably not going to love this, especially for hair-like strokes, but I'm gonna try it out today anyways. It's kind of the same shape as the Benefit Goof Proof. And then they have a tinted brow gel called the Air Brow, and then they also have a clear one. Now I tried the clear one, it didn't do much. Like, it really feels like not much product comes out on the wand, and it's not like the ABH Brow Freeze or the Refi Beauty. I need something that really has hold, so I don't think I'm gonna use that today. Something about the packaging too feels like it's gonna break. It's like plastic packaging, which is a little bit different for Kosas. I thought the packaging was really pretty, but it's just different. I was a little bit shocked. Like, is this Milk Makeup? Who is this? So let's start off with the Brow Pop. This is the dual action defining pencil. So it has a spoolie on one side, and then on the other side you have the pencil. Kind of has a little triangle shape to it. And I have the shade here, I think medium chocolate brown. So I'm gonna use this just to basically fill in, but for me, the tip is not small enough to do hair-like strokes. So I will say my first impression on this is I actually like it. It's not super creamy, which is something I like because when they're really creamy, I feel like they just slide and you don't have any control. Feels dry, but still has pigment. I just wish it had a finer tip on it, just because I have such sparse brows. I feel like if you have fluffy brows, you really may like this just because you can get them done quickly. But for me, it's like, I need all the help I can get. I need really fine pencils to be able to make my brows look natural. So I filled the rest of my brows in, and I just want to demo this Kosas Air Brow. To be honest, it's really hard for me to use brow products that don't work for me because I just have such finicky brows that if I don't use the products I like, it just ruins everything. So I just don't think these are going to become new favorites. But I have this shade here, medium chocolate brown. So I feel like this would probably be the product I would use the most because it has a tint to it. So it's kind of dual purpose. I like this though because I would use this again as a finishing step like I am now, just to make my brows look a little bit more fluffy on the top. But I need that tint. So for me, this is probably the standout product. I don't dislike the brow pencil, but I just wish it was fine because I need fine strokes for the inside of my brow, and really the best option for me still is the Benefit or the new Huda one. So yeah, I don't know. This is just gonna be probably more for people that have fluffy brows already, which is not me. So for the eyes, I'm gonna do something super simple. I'm gonna use the Ofra Samantha March palette. So this is the new release that she did with Ofra. So it has 8 shadows in here. And then it has a bronzer, which I'll use this to the highlight, and then a blush. So the bronzer and blush were from her previous collection with Ofra Cosmetics. This is a new highlight and then new shades here. So I think I'm actually going to probably use this shade just because I want to use those melt blushes. I don't want my eyes to be too purple. So I'm going to go in with this terracotta shade first. So I'm just going to use this pretty much all through the crease, focusing on the outer edge here. And then just blending in. So this is definitely the warmest color in the palette. I played with it yesterday and I used the more like mauve tones. But today, because I have certain like liquid lipsticks and blushes, I don't want to go too cool toned with everything. But it's really pretty. It's like I would say like a muted mauve purple palette. So next I'm going to use this lightest shade up here. I just want to use this to blend on the inner corner. So this definitely is more of a cool tone. I just kind of want to merge these two. Just softens it a little bit. And then I want to pop this on the lid. So one thing I noticed about this is that these shades in here that are shimmers are very satin finished. So they're not high shine metallic that I feel like we see on the market a lot. Something to note, they're kind of like a soft, sort of subdued satin finish, which I actually like, but It's just interesting because I feel like everything on the market is like so wham bam, like how crazy pigmented metallic can we make it? Whereas this is more, I would say, just like neutral everyday. So I'm gonna take this lightest shade here. So you can see there, like it's definitely got shimmer to it, but it's very, very, it's satin finish. So it's just very natural. So I'm just taking that original brush just to make sure that it's blended. But yeah, it just gives you like a really soft look. And then of course you could use the highlighter in there on your inner corner or on your lid if you want to really make it more metallic. Okay, so now I want to move on to the face. So I'm going to be using the bronzer in the Ofra Samantha palette. This is, I believe, called River. It was in her original. She had like split pans. This is supposed to be the matte one. It looks like it has some satin in there though. And I remember this being quite warm. Start to add some warmth to my skin. Curious to see how everything blends over this foundation. Okay, so that is the bronzer. I want to finish off my eyes. I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here. Maybe mix a little bit of this one in. I haven't really been putting stuff on my lower lash line lately, but I feel like maybe I should. I don't know. I'm just not in the lash mood today. I have a little bit of fallout with this one, as you can see right here, but so I'm just gonna apply that and then use that original brush just to sort of blend it out. I just want like a light wash. So before we go in with the highlighter from the palette, I wanna go in with this Honey Thief Melt Cream Blush. I picked this up. I picked up 3 shades, but I feel like this would be the best shade with what we're wearing today. Now I used one the other day off camera and it worked well over powder. So the way that I used it is just grab it on my sponge and then tap it on the back of my hand so that I don't get too much pigment. And then I just use a light pressure, very much how I use the Patrick Ta cream blushes or the Fenty Tower 28. It's really pretty. This is a pretty subtle color. I'm more of a poppy, I guess, a fan of poppy blushes. Like I love when they're really, really bright. So that is what it looks like. It looks really pretty. I might, you know what? I'm gonna live on the edge. I think I'm gonna grab a little bit of Sandy Cheeks. Maybe add a little bit of this in up here. Oh, that's pretty. These are really easy to work with, you guys. If you're new to cream and you wear powder, I think you would really enjoy these. I had literally no problem. They're very easy, like the Patrick Ta, so I can see these becoming a favorite. So now I want to highlight. I'm going to use the highlighter from the Ofra Samantha March. This is the shade Dream Chaser. So this is a new shade for her. She created. It's like a really icy, I would say icy color with a little bit of a pink shift. I use this, I think the other day, maybe twice now. It's really pretty. I mean, Ofra has, ooh, really good highlighters. And because I have that cream down, it's really intense. So just keep that in mind. You can also do your highlight first. I'm also going to pop it on the end of my nose and then down the center here. The only thing is it can leave a cast from the front, so just be mindful of that. It's really pretty. You know, I'm actually gonna take some more in my inner corner of that highlight. I just about poked myself in the eye. That was fun. So for lips, I lined with the KKW Nude 1.5. For the Jaclyn liquid lipsticks, I only was able to pick up 2. I picked up I'm a Cancer and also Oh Hi. I think I'm gonna try Oh Hi today just because it has that pinky color to it and I feel like we have obviously like purples and pinks going on. The other shade I picked up was I'm a Cancer, which is a little bit deeper. I don't know, maybe we'll use both. Who knows? They have a really light kind of buttercream smell, very pigmented, so we'll see how they apply. And this is definitely a light shade. Like I said, I had like, I want to say like 5 lipsticks and 3 or 4 lip liners in my cart, but they sold out so fast. So I'm just blending this in. I'm gonna use a little bit of I'm a Cancer. I'm actually just gonna put a little bit, I actually am a Cancer, if you were wondering. I'm gonna put a little bit on the back of my hand and just use this on the outer corners, just because I don't want this to be so pink. So this is what the liquid lipstick looks like. It has a tack to it, but it feels all right so far. I tried this the other day and it got really patchy, so I'll let you know down below in terms of where, but I actually want to apply a gloss on top. So this is the Ofra and Samantha March Lip Gloss Trio. So Millie, she already had, this is a permanent shade. It's very similar to like Diamond, is it Diamond Milk from Fenty? But she has 2 more shades, Queen and then also Peony. I think I'm gonna go in with Peony, which is that pinky shimmer, and I really like Ofra glosses. This is what it looks like. So I thought maybe it would just kind of ground the lips a little bit because I feel like they're looking a little bit too light. So this has a little bit of like a pink shimmer. All right, guys, here's my finished makeup look, and I want to go over the products and tell you my thoughts. So I actually like the KVD Balm Foundation. I don't know if I'm blown away, but I do like it. I feel like my skin looks nice and healthy, especially on my forehead area. So it's definitely not a dry down matte, but it does have that cream to powder feel. It's really hard to describe. A little goes a long way. I would not rub your brush or your sponge in here like you would with maybe like a, I don't know, cream bronzer or something like that. You really want to tap and then use that to blend out and kind of keep building. The coverage is high. It got a little funky around my nose when I used that Tatcha powder. So again, I'll keep trying it. The shade's a little bit warm for me, but overall I like it. I don't know if it's going to become a favorite just because I don't feel like it's going to hang on. I feel like it transfers, and I noticed even after I set it with powder, when I was doing like my eyebrows, when I removed my hand and my hand had touched my face, the foundation was on my hand. So I don't know if it's going to be great for like masks or super long wear, but I feel like it has a nice kind of fresh look to it, even though it's quite smoothing. So I don't know, we'll keep trying it out. I feel like, again, things blow up and it's like, you know, oh my God, the coverage. Well, yeah, when you're using a beauty filter or when you first apply it, it's like, wow, this is great. But how is it gonna wear throughout the day? How is it gonna look with powders and creams and everything on top? I will say everything blended on top perfectly except for the powder around my nose area, but other than that, it played well with other makeup. So I have, you know, good thoughts about it upon first impression, but we'll have to see how it wears and how it works with different products. The Tatcha powder I don't know about. I feel like it did work a lot better with a very minimal amount and a tiny brush right in my fine lines. I do not think you should bake with this. I don't know, something about it, it just kind of grabs and just looks a little bit dry, which is not something I'm really into. I really like powders that are smoothing, and you guys know I typically apply it with a sponge and then pull it down so that it can kind of just smooth over my texture, my pores. So I'm a little bit perplexed on this one just because the first time I used it, I really didn't like it. The second time, which was today, I feel like it's a little bit better, but I don't know if it's blowing my mind, especially for the price. It's very finely milled, and I feel like there is a little bit of a radiance in there, sort of like the hourglass. So if you have really dry skin, you may like something like this where you very lightly dust it on and it gives you a little bit of that glowy look. But for me, I just always tend to prefer a matte loose powder for my T-zone. So we'll keep trying it. Don't hate it, not blown away. I'll kind of try different ways to apply it and see what I think. In terms of the Gucci powder, I actually do really like it. The packaging is gorgeous, but the formula is great too. It's not really heavy, it's not dry, it doesn't enhance my texture, but it sort of gives me a little bit of coverage if I have a little bit of patchiness, or let's say that possibly I got a little bit too low with my bronzer and contour. I would use a powder like this to brighten up underneath. I think the shade 3 is perfect for what I use it for, which is the perimeters of my face. I am curious if I maybe got shade 2 or 1, if I could use that under my eyes just to see how smoothing it is in the T-zone. But overall, quite impressed with this. It's something that I've been using the past week or so, and I really like it. I also really like the Samantha March and Ofra collaboration. I feel like it's really cute for spring. The price point I thought was great, $39, but you could use 20% off affiliate codes. You get a lot of product in here, so I thought that was a great price point. I like the layout, even though I typically don't like eyeshadows mixed with face stuff. For some reason, I just think this is kind of cute and cohesive. I also like that the mattes are more dusty, mauvey, rosy, rather than just like punchy purples, neon, stuff like that. Everything blended really beautifully. The one thing I will say is, like I said, these shimmers are very satin-like. They're not metallic, punchy, crazy. Now, if you want that, you could go into the highlight, obviously. So the highlight like on the inner corner, or you could even put it on the lid. But this is a more subdued, I would say, everyday palette in terms of the eyeshadows. The bronzer is really pretty. It's quite warm, so definitely know that, but it blends beautifully. They say it's matte, but I feel like it has some shimmer in there, or not shimmer, satin feeling to that. I know her previous collab had like a shimmery side and then a matte side. I feel like this is sort of a hybrid. I don't know. It seems like there's some radiance in there. Highlight, super beautiful. Be careful about getting that white cast, but it's blinding. Ofra highlighters are blinding. And then the blush is from her previous duo. This is a shimmery side. It's like a really pretty sort of mauve color. So overall, I think this is a great price point, super cute. And I like that the colors aren't neon crazy purple, but they still have that purple undertone while being cool tone. I just think it's a really cute palette. The melt blushes are 100% a yes. These are so easy to work with. Now, I've only used them twice now, but I've had zero issues. They blend perfectly. They do give you that nice glowy look, but they're not crazy dewy where they're sticky, just a slight tack to your skin, but they work perfectly over powder. I am so hyped about these, and I might pick up some more in the sale because I already grabbed 3, but there's a couple more colors I feel like are different from my collection, so these are an absolute yes for me. In terms of the Kosas products, I feel like the Air Brow Clear Gel just isn't enough oomph for me. I really need something like the ABH Brow Freeze, but I do actually like the tinted one. I find that I like tinted brow gels that are not as hard of a hold because they just sort of fluff my brows up. They almost give me a little bit of color on the tops of the hairs that I do have, and I don't have much. So this is what stands out to me as maybe a finishing product for me, or on a natural day, just throwing it in the brow and then filling in a couple sparse areas. And the Brow Pop Dual Action Defining Pencil, I just wish it was a little bit more fine tipped. It's not bad. I can use it on the bottom of my brow, but it's not going to be one that I'm going to reach for to do strokes. So it's sort of one of those that I can use it, but I don't know if I would buy it because I like the benefit because I can do the under part of my brow, but also do strokes. So these are the 2 products I probably would reach for again, but really I like the brow gel with the tint the best just because I feel like it really does add dimension to my brow. In terms of the Jaclyn lipsticks, I feel like I had a better experience this time. Maybe I didn't use enough last time, but I tried Oh Hi before and it got patchy and kind of weird. They are a little bit sticky, so I do want to say that, and they're very pigmented. I'm curious to get more colors and try the liners. I probably will try to pick them up when they come to Ulta. I believe that's not until like May though, so I'm not sure, but overall it looks really nice. They have a really dry down kind of powdery look to them, so they definitely are matte. It's too early to tell like how they wear and stuff like that, but applying a gloss over it worked fine today. They blended nicely in with my lip liner. Oh Hi is just a little bit light for me, but again, I tried to get more shades. They just sold out, so I'll keep my eye on those. But let me know if you've tried these and what your thoughts are on the formula. And then lastly, the Ofra Samantha March trio of glosses. So she had Millie Prior, which I have. It's very similar to the Diamond Balm or Diamond Milk. It's a clear gloss with like white glitter. It's really pretty. And then these are new. This is Queen after her dog Aries, and then this is Peony, which I used today. I like Ofra's formula. They smell nice. They're really high shine, comfortable, not super sticky, but they're not going to slide around. So I think this is a cute little set as well. So that is everything for this trying new makeup. I know you guys really wanted to see the KVD, the Tatcha powder, the melt blushes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will link everything down below, but let me know your thoughts on how these products applied and if you've tried any of them. I want to see what you guys think. If you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.